Shalom and good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you to the Daniel Fast and Prayer Check-in. Um, Today is day 20 if you started on the 2nd of this month. If you started on the 1st, of course, this would be the last day of the Daniel Fast for you. Or if you started even earlier, you may already be completed with the Daniel Fast. But those of you who started on the 2nd, tomorrow will be the last day for our Daniel Fast, as far as us doing it together. Um, I really do pray that this has been a time where you have experienced growth, where you have drawn closer in your relationship with the Most High Yah, where you have experienced a level of deliverance, a level of change, a level of transformation in your life. That's what fasting and praying really should be all about. It should be about, you uncluttering your mind, you driving the things out of your life that should not be there, that is holding you back spiritually, that is keeping you in a place where you are continuing to sin. Those things that need to be driven out, things that you need to be able to see that you're not able to see when you're not fasting, because your focus is just not where it needs to be. And during the time of prayer and fasting, a lot of times people really get, just so caught up in the fact that they're not eating something, that they lose sight of what a time of prayer and fasting is truly supposed to be about. So I pray that, some positive things have come out of this time of prayer and fasting for you. I pray that some breakthrough has happened and will continue to happen, because just because this time of fasting may be over or coming to an end for us collectively, it does not mean that you need to stop. Like this is not going to be my last day. I'm actually going to be continuing on with my Daniel fast, so probably until about the 15th of July. So I'm going to continue on for a little while longer. But especially when it comes to the prayer, we have been instructed to pray without ceasing. And so a lot of times when we come off of, times of prayer and fasting, just because you stop with the fast, it does not mean that you stop with the prayer. Okay. That needs to continue to keep going each and every day. We need to be consistent. We need to be diligent in our prayer lives. So I always want to go back and remind everybody of that, because we always have this stop and start mentality, but there's a lot of things that we need to be doing in our lives as people of the Most High Yah, that needs to be something that we do all the time, and prayer is definitely at the top of that list. That we need to be moving forward in prayer each and every day, in prayer and praise and worship and meditation and intercession, for other people that are in our lives that need prayer and need people who are standing in the gap for them. This is very, very important that we see it that way, that we don't see prayer as something that we do only at certain times of the year. No, prayer should be like breathing to us as the people of the Most High Yah. And that's how you continue to grow. That's how you continue to change spiritually. And that's how you continue to transform, and your mind gets renewed. And prayer not only changes things and circumstances, but it changes you as the person spiritually. And then you move from just praying when there's crisis and when there's adversity and when there's emergency, and when those things come up, you'll just continue to pray. Okay. And that's what we want to do. We just want to continue on. It doesn't have to be something that we have to muster ourselves up to do, because it'll be a part of, what we are already doing in our everyday lives. So this is very, very important. Um, One of our prayer focuses was to um, be delivered as a people from spiritual blindness and spiritual deafness. And this is very, very important. It says in Matthew 15:14, let them alone. They are blind guides. And if the blind lead the blind, both will fall into a pit. You know, a lot of times our people are following down behind people who are also spiritually blind. And, you know, day after day, we're hearing about people who have lost their way as leaders. And then we see large groups of people who have also lost their way because they're following down behind leaders who are spiritually blind. And it's so important for us to pray for people's eyes to be opened spiritually to the truth, okay? So that we can be able to see what the Most High Yah wants us to see spiritually, so that we are not the blind leading the blind, or the blind following the blind and falling into a spiritual pit. This is very, very important that we don't find ourselves in that situation. We need to pray, all the time, that the Most High Yah will open up our eyes in areas of our lives where we are spiritually blind, expose to us the truth of what you want us to know, how you want us to live, how you want us to function, which direction you want us to go, what environments that we need to detach ourselves from, how we need to conduct ourselves, how we need to function, as individuals, as women, as young ladies, as young men, as grown men, in our marriages, in our families. Help us to see how we're supposed to function as people of the Most High Yah. Help us to see things as they really are, not as what we have been, told that they are. And I know that, especially over these last 4 to 5 years, that my eyes have been, opened spiritually. Everything that I thought that I knew to be true, a lot of it I found out and started seeing that it was a lie, that it was false, that I was seeing, I was spiritually blind in particular areas. And the Most High Yah started opening up my eyes so that I can see the truth, that I could see behind the deception and the lies and the false reality that I was looking at. And so, we've got to watch what we take in spiritually. We got to watch what we, are looking at, because a lot of times what we're looking at, what we're staring at, can keep us in spiritual blindness and spiritual darkness. And we can end up in falling into a spiritual pit because we are spiritually blind and being spiritually deaf. Praying for us as a people to be delivered from being spiritually deaf. A lot of times in the scriptures it says, he that has an ear to hear, let him hear. And a lot of times people don't like to hear the truth. A lot of times if you are trying to share the truth, shalom, good morning, welcome. If you're trying to share the truth with somebody, they'll go, I don't want to hear that. I haven't got time to hear all that. I'm not trying to hear that. So what are they saying? They have no problem with remaining spiritually deaf. They want to keep the spiritual earwax in their ears. They don't want to be held accountable. They know that if they hear it, they're going to be held accountable to make a change, you know, to be accountable to what they are listening to, what they are allowing into their ears. We are affected by what we hear and by what we see and the environments that we allow ourselves to be in and move in and live in and be a part of. And so we need to pray that us as a people are, um, are delivered from that spiritual deafness, that we can be able to be people that are willing to have an ear to hear what the Most High Yah is saying to us individually and collectively as a people, that we are willing to cleanse our ears of the spiritual earwax that has clogged us up and has kept us from being able to hear what the Most High Yah is saying to us individually and collectively as a people. And a lot of times people are like, well, I don't know what to do, and I don't know what decisions to make, and they're indecisive, and they're straddling the fence, they're lukewarm. They are not definitive in how they're living their lives. They got one foot in the truth and one foot in the world. You can't live your life like that. And really what they're doing is they are living, in spiritual blindness and spiritual deafness, and it's keeping them in spiritual darkness. And so it's time for us to really pray for ourselves, for our family members, for our friends, for our co-workers, for our neighbors, for our business associates, to come out of that spiritual deafness and that spiritual darkness. Not only during the rest of this time of our Daniel fasting and prayer, but all of the time. These are the last and evil days, and the enemy knows his time is short. And so he's doing everything that he possibly can um, to keep as many people as he can in spiritual blindness and spiritual deafness and, ultimately in spiritual darkness. And those of us who have come into the knowledge of the truth, who have tasted of the heavenly gift, who are seeking the face of the Most High Yah, who are, acknowledging Yahuwah in all of our ways so that he can direct our path. We have to learn how to not be wise in our own eyes, but fear Yahuwah and depart from evil. And see, when you can't fear Yahuwah to the level and degree that you need to, and depart from evil if you're spiritually blind and you're spiritually deaf. You really, really, can't do that properly if you're in that spiritual state, and as far as the Daniel fast, it's already started, but you can start a Daniel fast at any time, and it's usually 21 days, but like myself, I'm going to go longer than 21 days. So if you want to jump on the Daniel fast and start, you can start even now. We started on the 2nd, but like I had shared in other videos, I try to do the Daniel fast 4 times, at least 4 times a year now. To just continue to keep myself focused and help me to cleanse out toxins out of my body and help me to stay balanced spiritually as well as physically, because I'm really, really trying to, overcome some things, be delivered, from some things. So if you didn't know that it started and it started on the 2nd, you can start now. You can start now, or you can start tomorrow, or what have you, and go for the next 21 days. As far as you don't have to not do it because you didn't start when we started. And that's the great thing about prayer and fasting. It's great when you can do it with other people, but there are times when I'm just doing it by myself, and it's reaping it. I have reaped the benefits spiritually as well as physically, mentally, and emotionally from doing the Daniel fast and prayer. And I just always like to remind us of what our prayer focuses are, and can continue to be, for us as a people to you know be healed mentally, emotionally, and physically. Our people are really suffering with mental illness, emotional, being emotionally sick and being physically sick. So we need healing in those areas. And like I was talking about today, that spiritual blindness and that spiritual deafness, we really, really need to be delivered from that. We really need our spiritual eyes open and our spiritual ears open, especially in these last days, so that we are not caught unawares, so that we're not, taken by surprise. We're not spiritually caught off guard, and so that we have the right spiritual perspective, and that we can be able to see through the proper prism, spiritual prism. Because if we're looking at things through the mindset that the world wants us to view things, you know we're going to have a problem. Shalom, shalom, Sister Yemima Yah Yisrael. Good morning. And it's very important that we have the right mindset. That we have the right eyesight. Okay. And for those of us who wear glasses, or like myself, um, if you go to, like me, I wear glasses to read, for reading. I have them on most of the time because I do a lot of reading. But if you're anything like me and you're trying to read something and it's blurry, the first thing that you do, and first thing I do is, or my husband does, is hand me my glasses so I can do what? So I can see clearly, so that everything that was blurry is now brought into focus and is clear. And some people, their eyesight is so bad that they can barely see, they can't see words at all, and the people that they see is just really the figure or the silhouette. And that's how some people are spiritually. They don't even realize how bad off they really, really are. And so, the more that the Most High Yah is, clearing up my vision, clearing up my spiritual vision, clearing up my spiritual ears and my ability to hear him clearly. And it gets sharper during times of fasting. The more that I am able to see what I need to adjust, what I need to change, what I need to get rid of out of my life, because I'm able to see things now that I didn't see when I was spiritually blind. I am able to hear things now from the Most High Yah that I was not able to hear in the past when I was spiritually deaf. And so this is very, very important. Once again, deliverance from addiction. A lot of times people think about being addicted to pornography, being addicted to smoking, being addicted to alcohol, gambling. You can be addicted to gossip and backbiting. And you can be addicted to dysfunction. You can be addicted to drama. You can be addicted to food. You can be addicted to, that involves gluttony and overeating. You can be addicted to not eating, and starving yourself, which brings you into bulimia. You can be addicted to shopping and overspending, which means that you don't walk in the spirit of self-control. You can be addicted to technology. You can be addicted to sports. Okay, you can be, there's so many different things that you can be addicted to. And so um, being delivered from addiction. All of us, you can be addicted to sugar, you can be addicted to salt, there's so many different things. And so all of us, need to seek the face of the Most High Yah for deliverance from whatever it is that you may be addicted to. Be honest with yourself. Okay. It's very easy to look at somebody else and say, man, you addicted to blah, 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 you know, but be honest with yourself. During the time that you pray and fast, it's a time of self examination and self reflection. And, you know, that's what we need to be doing. That's what we need to be looking at. And if you see that you are addicted to something, make that change. Don't procrastinate. You know, don't, yes, you can be addicted to pretty much anything. Yes, and sugar is a huge one. I love sweets, but I struggle when I'm not on the Daniel fast. I struggle with that. I struggle with, keeping myself from just, going overboard with sweets. I really, really do. I've gotten a lot better with it over the years. I've been Kool-Aid free since 2003. My name is Ayabaji, and I have been Kool-Aid free since 2003. And you know, it was one of my big sources of sugar, because I used to make that Kool-Aid ghetto style, man, with the sugar just piled up at the bottom of the pitcher, and that I used to make my Kool-Aid in. And I got off of it uh, years ago. And I say that, because I went through withdrawal when I got off of the level of sugar that I was consuming. I did it on some other diet through their induction phase, which I never got back on that diet again. But it did help me get off of that sugar, that level of sugar that I was addicted to. And I didn't even realize how addicted I was to sugar until I went through that. And I slowly but surely stopped taking in so many things. And then eventually I got off of drinking sodas. I think that was like 20, somewhere in between 2016 and 2017. I got off of the sodas. And I drink mostly water and fruit and vegetable smoothies, and I do drink juice sparingly, sparingly, because of the amount of sugar that can be in the juice. So that I do sparingly, and tea, so and with honey sparingly. And so yeah, and I do stick to mostly water. And especially when I'm on the Daniel fast, I just do the water and the fruit and vegetable smoothie. So, but that's pretty much all the time for me. Like I said, I drink juice sparingly. And because when you're addicted to something and you're really trying to pull away from it, you really do have to stay away from it so that your body can really get off of it. And so that's why I used to do the Daniel fast once a year, and then I went to doing it twice a year. And so this year I made a commitment to doing it once a quarter. So I did it in February for 30 days. And then, yeah, and some people do just drink the teas, the herbal teas plain, as they are, with no sweetener in it. And and I've done some of that too myself. And so now I've made a commitment to doing it 4 times a year, once a quarter. So this is actually my second time doing it. And so that deliverance from addiction is what we've been praying about, and overcoming and getting rid of distraction. which is huge in the world that we live in. We live in a world that is full of distractions that are going on all the time. It's very hard to get away from it unless you really make up in your mind and pray and turn things off in your life, that you can end up just being distracted all of the time with your cell phone, with on the computer, with the television, with all of, especially with all of the technology that's right, at our fingertips. This is why I don't have other social media platforms. The only platform that I have is my YouTube channels. That's it. I don't have a Google Plus page anymore because Google shut that down for us all. so um, so I don't have that anymore. um, I had a Twitter page at one time that my uh, when I was working for the public school system, they required us to have a Twitter page, which I hardly ever used. I had a whole 22 tweets up there. And so when I retired from my teaching job with the school system, I shut down that Twitter page. I don't need more things that I have to be distracted with and alerted to and to keep up with. So I got rid of it. So I am very, very streamlined. I'm in a few, Google Hangout groups or what have you, but I am very, very streamlined with the amount of social media that I allow access into my life anymore. I just don't have the time for it, for one thing, and I'm trying to overcome distraction. I'm trying to overcome constantly being distracted all the time. I'm trying to stay focused in my walk with the Most High Yah. I'm trying to, I'm trying to think clearly and have that clarity of vision and clarity of focus. So that was one of overcoming, getting rid of distraction and true and genuine repentance. Okay. And turning away from all manner of sin, wickedness, and iniquity. This was one of our prayer focuses. Now is the time to get it right, everybody. You know what you're doing in the booth in the back in the corner in the dark. Okay, you and Yahuwah. You know what you're doing. You know what you're not doing that you're supposed to be doing. You know what you're doing that you're not supposed to be doing. Okay. Um, you know, Judge yourself. Okay. Then you don't have to worry about being exposed, by other people. You know, be honest with yourself, judge yourself, examine yourself, and what the Most High Yah shows you that you need to repent of and turn away from, like Yahusha, would say to people when he was, walking the earth during his earthly ministry, go and sin no more. Okay. We can't have this thing of, oh, forgive me, please forgive me. Oh, I'm so sorry. And then going right back into what we were doing. It doesn't work like that. We've got to learn to be obedient, to the Most High Yah, be obedient to him and his commandments, turn away from all manner of sin and wickedness and iniquity, work out our soul salvation with fear and trembling. Those that endure to the end will be saved. Okay. And so we have to keep on moving forward. We can't give up. We can't throw in the towel, And this is why I, invited all of you to do the Daniel fast and prayer. And like I said, if you didn't catch it back when we started on the second, you can, get on the Daniel fast today. You can start tomorrow. You can, prepare and go ahead and start. You don't have to wait until there's a group of people who are doing it. And that's what's great about change and mind, renewing your mind and moving forward. You don't have to wait for everybody else to do the right thing before you do the right thing, And so I want to encourage all of you, for those of you that your last day is going to be tomorrow, great job if you were able to stick with it, the whole 21 days. I know for some people this is more challenging than others, because when you're on the Daniel fast, you you know you're only eating fruits and vegetables. um, I've only been eating fruits, vegetables, um, beans, you know, water. That's basically what I've um, been eating. I've been very, very streamlined, and just plain popcorn, plain popcorn. Um, of course, non-GMO. Got to make sure everything is non-GMO. But it helps you to really focus. And like I said, um, continuing on with um, with my Daniel fast, because I have an appointment, a doctor's appointment, um, coming up mid-July, and so I want to really make sure that my blood pressure stays like it is. And like I said, that my blood pressure has really, really, um, been good. 117 over 78, 116 over 78, 108 over 74, 106 over 73. 116 over 76. It's been really, really good. Especially while I've been on the Daniel fast, it's been at normal levels, and it's been very, very consistent. And so I've been keeping a journal of my weight, of my blood pressure, of everything that I've been eating during the Daniel fast, to really keep me focused. Yes, that's good that you have reduced a lot of distraction. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And so I'm really, like I said, I struggle just like all of you. I am not by any means perfect, but I have been doing a lot better. And so that's why I've made the commitment to be on the fast, because I'm like, man, I do so great when I'm on the Daniel fast. But what I'm trying to do is really take more of what I'm doing when I'm on the fast and incorporate it more consistently into when I'm not on the fast, and just learning to walk in self-control. And good for all of you who are continuing to stick with it, who are continuing to make those lifestyle changes spiritually as well as mentally and physically and emotionally, and you are moving forward in your relationship with the Most High Yah. Praise Yah for those of you who have been experiencing deliverance and breakthrough, individually, in your marriages, in your families, maybe on your jobs, in your businesses. All of that. Praise Yah. My business is starting to, grow and flourish, and I'm starting to, build up my clientele, in my business, and it has not been easy, but uh, you know, it has been a journey, but we are starting to experience breakthrough in my business. So I would praise Yah in that area for me as well. So, and just be cognizant that when you start to experience deliverance and breakthrough, the enemy is not happy. So he's, be aware. Be spiritually aware, and keep your spiritual eyes open and your spiritual ears open, and keep your spiritual antennas up, okay? Because the enemy will try to come in and hit you from when, if you're not being aware. Watch as well as pray. Be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. So I just wanted to take the time to do a check-in with all of you. Like I wanted to say, stay encouraged, keep it up, pray without ceasing, pray and not faint. you know um, Remember that you can do all things through Yahushua HaMashiach, who strengthens you. And I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. And so I pray that you Have a positive, powerful, and productive day. Shalom.